Hello and welcome to yet another Adrenalin Shot, your short, sharp injection of something valuable. And today my guest is Shane Spiers from Summit Scale in Bath, UK. So all the way from the UK today, Shane.
Yeah, lovely to be here.
Thank you. So let me tell you a little bit about Shane. Shane's going to talk to us about the 8-figure business model for 7-figure businesses. And I know that some of you will be really interested in that. So Shane Spiers is a business scaling strategist and an accomplished leader with SME, mid-size and FTSE 250 company experience. His career track record is dominated by leading and scaling 7, 8 and 9-figure rapid growth companies. His roles have included CEO of a $25 million enterprise, providing services to central and local government, and MD of a $240 million business unit responsible for leading a team of over 1,000 people, operating in 135 sites across 23 cities. So one of his greatest successes, Shane says, is included being part of a leadership team that grew a real estate business 2,000%. Is that right, Shane?
2,000%.
2,000%, taking them from an SME to a FTSE 250 company in just 8 years. These days, Shane's thing is Summit Scale. The 7 to 8 figure business growth model is a blended learning program that equips 7-figure entrepreneurs with an 8-figure scale model to speed the growth of their business, ultimately for control and choice over exit. Shane's work has spanned different industries, including healthcare, energy, arts, government services, entertainment, professional services, real estate, housing, and manufacturing. So welcome to the program today, Shane.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. And Shane's just been telling me that they're having the best weather in the UK at the moment since he's been living over there. So you'll detect a little bit of a New Zealand accent. Is that right, Shane?
Yes, yeah. Originally from New Zealand, but lived in the UK for about 25 years.
Yeah, I could pick it up when I first spoke to you. So you know the drill here. We get 5 minutes and I will launch into some questions here. And obviously when the bell goes, your time's up.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about Summit Scale, what it is and the problems that it solves.
Well, I describe growing a business as a 3-dimensional problem. The first dimension is what I call the barriers of complexity. And as a business grows, it just becomes more and more complex to run. And this complexity is due to more employees, more customers, more products and so forth. And that complexity creates barriers to growth. One around leadership, the inability to hire or grow enough leaders throughout the organization. Around systems, a lack of systems and structures to create consistency in communications and decisions, and around marketing, a lack of function to attract new relationships with the customers, talent, advisors, and deal with the increased competitiveness that comes with growth. The second dimension is what I call the natural cycles of growth. Businesses don't grow in straight lines. They grow through fairly predictable peaks and troughs, and that's to do with more than number of employees than revenue. And the trick is to jump from one peak to another without kind of falling into the abyss. And then the third dimension is I call the kind of cruel and counterintuitive market dynamics at play. So, and what that really boils down to is at the right approach at a certain stage of growth is really likely to be the wrong approach at another stage of growth. So, for example, between 0 and 1 million, it's natural for leaders to focus on external sales and revenue. You're trying to prove your product in the marketplace and that you've got a market for your product. But between 1 million and 10 million, the leader's focus needs to be more on internally focused, more on scaling and also on cash, because in 0 to 1 million, the focus is on revenue, but between 1 million to 10 million, it has to be on cash because growth sucks cash. And the Summit Scale model is a business growth model that basically gives leadership teams the tools to address those problems.
So what would you say are some of the symptoms that a business owner would experience if they've got business growth problems?
Well, I suppose the top symptoms I see when I start to see clients, the first is a frustration, a feeling stuck frustration. Kind of what worked in the past is now no longer working. And that often kind of leads to self-esteem issues and saying, well, what's going on? Have I lost something here? The second is around what I call overwhelm. And often business owners build their business around themselves. It's natural. But as a business grows, they become overwhelmed with minutiae and firefighting. And you're in right ground for stress and overwhelm. And it's actually the opposite that needs to happen. You need to do less and get your business to do more. Mm. And then the kind of third symptom would be often decision paralysis, which is unable to make a decision to grow. People are stuck. They kind of go backwards and you lose the business, or go forward and risk everything. And it becomes this kind of cycle of not being able to make a decision to grow.
Yeah, there's a real fear that sits under that for them, isn't there? Where, do I risk everything? Do I put everything on the line? Or do I just sort of try and, trim the sails and see if it's steady as she goes? Yeah. So what are some of the classic mistakes that people should avoid when they're trying to fix their business growth problems?
Well, the biggest one is kind of linked to what I've just said, is spending more time working in the business. And the exact opposite is it's required. You've got to find a way to do less and get your business to do more, not just for your own sake, but for your business' sake. It's going to become less and less reliant on you. The second mistake is investing heavily in sales. You think it's a kind of perfectly sensible thing to do, but it's not unless you're investing in other parts of the business at the same time. For example, around order fulfillment, staff development, systems, and back-end delivery. Because if those things are not ready to deal with increasing sales, then that's when you get into the area of customer dissatisfaction and logistical problems and those sorts of things. Mm. And then the kind of third mistake I'm seeing is really around chasing a long list of growth initiatives. Often when leaders develop a new strategy, they start at looking at places to grow and develop a long list of initiatives, because there's lots of ways you can grow a business. But most growing organizations actually have too many priorities to achieve the level of focus that they need to achieve. And scaling a business has got to be about taking one significant step at a time and then checking the data and adjusting accordingly.
I'm just going to stop the clock there. Well, you did pretty well getting to that part of
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It goes so fast, doesn't it? It
really does.
One tip. So, you've talked about the classic mistakes that people make.
Yeah.
Obviously every case is different, but if you were to pick one thing that, you would suggest that people concentrate on to start off with, what would that one thing be?
The one thing is kind of focusing on this point about getting your business to do more and you to do less. And that's where these things coming in. You've got to grow your leadership. You've got to go find ways of hiring or growing leaders in your business at every level of your business. You've also got to invest in systems. Developing systems for me is an ongoing thing. What work as systems in a 6-figure business won't work in a 7-figure business, and they won't work in an 8-figure business. Mm. And the final one is really focus on marketing, but marketing has got to be a consistent thing. It's the key to getting off the sales income roller coaster. If you've got consistent marketing, then you'll find yourself getting off that sales roller coaster.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And you see that so often with small businesses where they haven't got anything systematic in terms of marketing. It's a case of, a bit hit and miss, isn't it? And so then they wonder why they're on that roller coaster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Shane. I really enjoyed hearing you speak. You speak my kind of language, so I really get it. Now, if people wanted to know anything more, they can go to what website?
Yeah, if they go to www.summitleader.com, there's all sorts of free stuff there to tools to use, and have a look around.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you very, very much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again, perhaps in the future, on our Adrenalin Shot interviews.
Thanks, Dawn. Appreciate it.
Thank you.